just to make that play here. But just HQ opening with a Zir and see if they take off the gangplank. Yup, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, so nothing surprising yet. Fizz is still available. Westall played Twisted Fate earlier in the day, and Fizz off the table. I guess for Cloud9, it's the obvious one. Lulu still up and available. If Cloud9 wanted to put all their eggs in the sneaky basket, it's worked for them several times in the past.
We'll see, and the thing is, Lee Sin picked up. Cloud9 thinks the Tahm Kench ban is enough to prevent the AHQ hard carry strategy. Mountain is going to be happy to play Rek'Sai, though. Gragas, of course, still on the table. They thought the Elise ban and taking Lee Sin would have been important enough.
Last time HQ was on first rotation purple, they picked Jinx, and they took away something that Cloud9 wanted, which was, that's something that Fnatic wanted, which was the cannon. This time they could actually go for the Morgana, steal that pivotal pick away from the Veigar composition, also have Black Shield to dodge those cages, so that's a counter pick that could potentially come out. Looking to start their draft the same way they did earlier, though, with that cannon flex.
This is interesting. This makes me feel like Inclination's going to definitely play Veigar in this game, because with Tahm Kench gone, the obvious single target assassination removal is gone, and they're like, yeah, HQ, go play that Jinx, play the slower AD carry. I think it's still very tricky because On has shown he is up to the task of carrying the game by himself. So if this strat works for C9 of essentially baiting this pick, then okay.
I think Jinx Morgana would have actually been a really good opening rotation here. You steal it away from Lemonation, you force him to play Braum. It plays well into the Braum if you time your Black Shields right, and you can deny some Lee Sin kicks and Veigar cages, but doesn't really come out. Could still see that later, though. Cloud9 generally picks up the support very late in their drafting. HQ can decide where to put that cannon, perhaps already in the next rotation.
Well, for balls, it's all Darius all day. They pick it fairly early on. Earlier today, Darius and Lee Sin were their first two picks. With Lee Sin already on the table, Cloud9 could play it safe. We've heard a lot of talk about how Darius is relatively safe into most matchups.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of experience on the champion, but the tempo of even the picks and bans is significantly slower because of the importance of this game right now.
Well, that's just C9. They almost always wait till the last 5 seconds, and they lock in unison. So this Morgana Twitch, a new look here.
I like Sneaky Switch, and more importantly, he can actually get the first trade here on every time too.
First of the worlds as well.
Yep.
Because if he pops his ulti, either he ambushes him, gets him in a position where he can guarantee win, or later in the fight, he has a way bigger range than even a max level 9 Max Rocket's Jinx. So opening up here with no Braum available just yet. Braum is a hard counter though. Braum and Yasuo are so hard to play against if you are Twitch, and HQ could still fit them into their composition.
Give that cannon to one of the solo laners and stick that Braum in Albus's hands. But for AHQ now, where else do they go? We know Westall loves his assassins. We know he wants to find something that can blow Sneaky off the map. I guess if you want to come behind him, counter some of the invisibility, TF could be an option. Lulu is still available. It was actually last picked earlier today when Cloud9 was on red side. And slight flavored change from what we were expecting.
This is so likely to be a cannon support right now. Otherwise, HQ is going to operate the game without a single tank in their lineup, or just a support tank. And Cloud9 taking a different approach here. Knock, knock. Yasuo composition.
That's an entirely quick pivot. I actually have to give C9 some props for this one. The only sign that sort of betrayed that it might have been a Yasuo comp was that Lee Sin first pick. The other two make sense, but only once you realize the comp is there. So the Malphite for this setup, the Lee Sin can do it as well. C9 are set up for a very aggressive take on what initially looked really defensive based on the Twitch pick.
And thematically, it makes sense, right? Every single phrase in the interview from Femal, though, their HQ is a good team, their AD carry is better. Every time we talk about HQ, Ziv on that Jinx, Ziv on that Jinx. You now have a wind ball to get him. You can ambush him, we're sinking it behind him for the kick. They don't have a Black Shield. And if all else fails, you literally just dunk him with the Malphite just charging at him. So Ziv showed that he could kite some assassins, but this is some hardcore engage coming his way, and he'll have a hard time trying to survive that on Rotter.
We'll see how.
We all know what you meant.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and
perhaps it's top lane Jinx. You know, you never know.
The difficulty now, the difficulty now, is how on earth does he position? Because we've seen High find ways to get involved in team fights over and over. You can argue to the effectiveness throughout the course of the group stage. Over eager maybe today, giving away more kills than he should. And Sneaky pulling out the very first Twitch of the World Championships.
Yeah, well, with a name like that, how could you help but pick the champion here? It's an old joke. I've done it before in the NALCS. But either way, this is going to be really interesting because these are AD carries you typically build around defensively. You grab a bunch of peel and you make sure they stay alive. But the comp's actually a bit different. Both these comps, to me, look very go forward. Yep. And the long range allows them to participate with what the rest of the team is doing.
C9 desperately need a lane swap though. Not only does it open up the map for more angles and gank patterns here from the Twitch, they also have pretty atrocious laning phase early. That 2v2 Twitch Morgana is hard to play into Ken and Jinx. Not impossible, especially once, even if you go slightly behind on level 6, Westar will simply just pour down and just make your life a living hell. So lane swap definitely in C9's favor here.
Well, we'll see if they can get that lane swap to come in here because we are into the last game of the group stage. We're going to find out who is going to be the 8th and final team in the quarterfinals. And as always, guys, you know the drill. Hashtag C9 win, hashtag AHQ win. Lane swap going to be important for C9, dodging the 2-on-2 because Sneaky will be very important here.
And you can see the fans here in Paris definitely on the side of Cloud9. When Febiven gave an honest answer on who he thought would win, the crowd disagreed. Febiven felt it'll be AHQ, but Cloud9 have drafted a team composition that hits AHQ where they are strongest.
It also does hit them where they're weakest as well. You heard Febiven also say that he thought Westar was the weakest player on the team, that he could outplay him. And Incarnation has been one of, if not the best performing individual player on Cloud9 at this World Championship. Yasuo is a champion who can take over games. And there are 4 squishies to target in this AHQ lineup. And
so much of AHQ's damage can be negated by that wind wall. Hi's a little eager here.
He's already learned Q. He's got to be careful. Mountain gets move speed for this hunt.
He learned Q, he may have learned his lesson.
Q could kill him.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was no reason at all to go for that second Q proc. That will lead nowhere. It's the minor choke. Like, why?
Hi is very new to the Lee syndrome. He has not developed an understanding or a remedy for it yet.
He hasn't built up the immunity, you know?
Yes.
After you overcome smallpox or...
chickenpox.
Yeah, chickenpox.
That's a better one.
To be fair, I think you can overcome smallpox, but... You know, he never got his Lee Sin chickenpox yet, so we've got it out here now in the most important game.
Everybody knows at every elo, up until maybe Diamond, you follow the second Lee Sin Q. Also just mention that both solo laners on both sides of the rift are running flash teleports. So let's see how Incarnation and Westar are going to play the map. Well, Sneaky and Lemonation are maybe going to be a little sneaky.
The Nidalee Lee Sin jungle matchup is actually pretty interesting because they can both duel each other depending on who gets to jump on whom and who actually initiates. Take into that equation the fact that the high splash is now down could lead to a bit of a power shift here towards Mountain. Mountain has shown so far though that he hasn't been the best at finding these early openings. So that could be the saving grace for High here, but he loses a lot of his gank potential and he actually gave up double buffs earlier today too. So really have to be careful.
C9 trying so hard to dodge the matchup. They're going to arrive like 40 seconds late to the lane, hiding near the mid lane.
This is how big the disparity in that matchup is. It's incredibly hard to play Twitch into a Jinx because you need a lot of auto attacks to then expunge and trade, but into a cannon who will stun you in that time for you it takes to win that trade. Cannon will stun you and then you lose it anyway, so not impossible matchup here.
And of course, keep in mind that Jinx Cannon actually can push reasonably well. And if they want to shove in the lane really hard and then swap back to the top lane, that is a possibility. Sneaky and Lemon can't push nearly as fast. Unless he does learn Tormented Soil. Right now that we're not seeing any pushes happen. And you may just play the standard lane swap game of fast turret pushes.
Oh, we see an adaptation here. Lemonation heading down together with his support. Or his top laner, Balls. Balls your support. I am the carry now. AP Morgana. But yeah, they're going for a 2-man tower defense, or at least Lemon's pathing to the mid lane now, so he's just trying to become a wild card here. Just showing up left and right or walking around his jungle. Taking the scenic route, Summon's Rift, really enjoying the texture updates that we brought to this map.
I think he's looking to see if Ziv and Mountain are already jungling in this bottom side of the map. They're not right now. Ziv, of course, already down to this brush, spotted by Elimination. But it's going to be a 2 versus 3, potentially 4.
Yeah.
And High's on the other side of the map. This happens very often when C9 sets up a play where they need their jungler. High in the early game ends up at a completely different side of the map, and then everybody kind of has to wait for him to get done with his business, for him to then even out whatever's happening.
Well, it does allow Incarnation time to fight Westar. It doesn't stay for the auto attacks, though. And he actually hit it without the wind shield on, so now he has the ability to do all this.
I mean, Ziv could have teleported to the top lane.
He was totally safe.
Yeah, totally safe. He could have been ahead so many minions because they have no clue whatsoever up until the point where Italy showed herself where Mountain was. So this is a bit of a mistake from AHQ. They didn't punish at C9 at all for the mistakes they made. So game stays even.
4 members of AHQ going to take down this tower in the not too distant future, while Balls and Lemonation try to fend off some of the aggression. High continues to farm the jungle, and Sneaky is hitting that top tower. It's about half hit points at the moment, so tower will fall in favor of AHQ quicker.
Good recall stop that'll give a little bit more time for Sneaky to get the situation he wants, but On right now will have pickaxe gold on the recall. Sneaky gonna be pretty slow in knocking this turret down, actually. The fact that he's only one person doing this, there's still a lot of time to go.
Even if they get that tower around, the game will stay even. There's a good chance if Ziv TTs that he could maybe hold it here, but you just really have to question what AHQ was doing, not teleporting into that 1v1 on the top lane. They could have had a snowballing Darius right here to really take control of the map.
And looks like Ziv will not lose his turret, so the only advantage that Cloud9 gained was solo XP on Sneaky, while On shared it.
And look at Lemonation, level 1 right now.
We'll see how that works out. Not only is he under-leveled to Albus's level 3, Balls level 2 to Ziv's level 4. Teleport is still available for Balls. He's got no tower to move around to. He's still sticking around in this bottom lane. And Lemonation, for the time being, looks like he's going to hold his hand.
High is still there.
And there's some defensive wards on the bottom side to make sure that the mountain gank doesn't work.
Oi.
And that's the advantage gone. 2 members of C9 were ahead in experience. That was High over Mountain. Mountain right now is farming up to equalize High out. Sneaky is ahead, but it's probably the least important player to be ahead in terms of experience when it comes to an AD carry. Switch is one of the better AD carries to have ahead, but still, coming out of lane swap, you want your top laner ahead. You want your jungler roughly even, but your AD carries, you don't really care about all that much.
Sneaky just got a pretty bad recall anyway. Just Vamp Scepter, nothing special for how long he sat up there unperturbed. Yeah, tower kill, of course, worth half to a full wave of gold anyway, so whether he got extra time up there or not, doesn't matter. On's going to feel pretty good about this one. Balls will TP finally and head up to the top lane, but he's down 14 CS and a level before the matchup even starts. And it's not like Sneaky's far ahead either.
Well, Balls is in the standard Worlds position at the moment, down in CS, down in levels. But traditionally, he catches that back up once a couple of towers have fallen, and he's given some of that side lane soak, as it were.
This has to be the latest level 2 in the entire tournament for Elimination. He's still level 1 right now. That cannon,
there it is.
Level 2.
625.
Get himself at least a little bit of gold. High, going to be sniffing around for more. Against Fnatic earlier, that mid lane gank really hurt him, but there's no pressure this time, and Sneaky, a good trade onto On.
And because Albus went to the top lane and helped Ziv for a little bit, On is actually out-leveling Sneaky, or he was until a second ago, so there's really no advantage anywhere to be had. Even Incarnation, who's up in CS, is only equal in gold to Westor thanks to that Twisted Fate passive. I mean, there are really no bright spots right now for C9.
Certainly not. You can see Incarnation being chunked down. If you look at the hit point totals, Balls is also chunked to below half. So while those trades are going on, C9 solo laners taking a lot of hits as wildcards, just tagging Incarnation as he was sweeping that blade through the minions. Mountain gonna look maybe for a tower dive. Thinks better of it. Balls getting closer and closer to that unstoppable force.
He just dinged 5 though, and Ziv would know that, so they know it's about 3 waves until Balls can ult. His TP is down as they're aware of, but his flash is up.
This is good though. Sneaking, moving to the mid lane. This is what you have to do with which you can't go for extended laning phases, but Westor is playing pretty far back anyways to really give Incarnation the time.
Tornado lands, but you're not going to follow that up.
If that rat-a-tat-tat was available.
Even then, I don't think you go
maybe,
for it. Under the turret.
With Incarnation diving, I would believe.
All right.
You've got to have the...
If you're bold, you can go for that play, but it doesn't matter because there's no Rat-a-tat available. Sneaky is still level 5, and On is comfortably scaling up with the Jinx. Now gets the Avarice Blade, to just get rewarded for more farming. And Sneaky, he will have to make a pick somewhere. Because later on, it'll be a lot easier for HQ to spot him, because whenever they even think he's ulting so, or sneaking up somewhere, they can just pop the TF ulti and just surprise him, take him out.
The one thing for TF, he's down 20 CS for Westor against Incarnation's Yasuo. But that is evened out in truckloads, as both Ziv and On are the exact same amount ahead of the Cloud9 members. So big CS advantage in favor of AHQ, plus the tower means that they've earned themselves 1,600 gold, and they're grouping on mid.
AHQ pulling the Cloud9 special, man. They can do it even better as the jungler shows up as well. 4 ranged champions just throwing auto attacks in there. Flame Chompers hit nothing, but this turret getting dangerously low down below half.
Very, very heads-up play from AHQ. Cloud9, they came out looking strong last week, but were unable to diversify their strengths. And whether it be through picks and bans or now playstyle, their opponents are figuring them out. AHQ still playing very aggressive on the top half of the map, and Lee Syndrome, High follows in.
Level 6 goes to look for the play. No Yasuo in range yet. Nice kick by Albus. Just barely misses Mountain, but High needs one more Q. He's stunned, but he gets unstunned. He gets the first blood. The Black Shield is not enough, though, as the auto attack comes through. A trade, and Albus has buffs. First blood, though, still to High.
That was a really close kick as well. High using Albus to potentially get Mountain there, so close, and then he still gets that kill somehow. He's playing very aggressively, and in all the games that C9 have been losing today, High's been playing very high pressure, so he's actually been doing a good job trying to keep the game even. However, the whole reason that the game kind of falls out of C9's favor is High's heavy farm style in the first 4 to 5 levels.
And you see just how far behind Balls is to Ziv. Ziv getting that stacks of Noxian Might and looking for the dunk. Not going to find the low enough hit points to follow it up. And luckily for Sneaky, he's now bounced back. Thanks to that push in the mid lane tower, lost a couple waves of CS, or rather gave a couple waves of uncontested CS to Sneaky. And that's going to shrink that gap ever so slightly. Cutlass already picked up into the Pickaxe Avarice Blade. So again, it's just this sort of laning phase that AHQ will be relatively happy with, thanks to the scaling on both their mid laner and their AD carry.
AHQ have a lot of winning lanes, though, is the thing, so they can keep pushing things out, showing up to the mid, kind of covering for Westor a little bit. Great wind wall by Incarnation.
Didn't even pop the passive.
Well, yeah, he dashed backwards and easy peasy. High steals 9 gold, well done.
Luckily for C9 Balls, hang on here, Incarnation connects.
Gold card used, shield in for High, finds the Q. Perfect preemptive flash by Westor, and High is a hit away from dead. Dodge the wild cards.
Super Mega Death Rocket. Observers, they're going to track it. Let's see if this one hits.
You missed on.
Field goal? Is that what you guys call it?
3 points for On.
3 points for On, but Elimination, he's going to dash through this minion. He's going to dash to Westor.
Yes,
and
he
he's
can.
going to kill him. Westor is down. Feathervin called him out, and Incarnation says, I agree.
Touchdown, Incarnation.
6 points to C9. They're up 3 right now. We'll see if they can get the point after here. And it's going to be pushing for the mid turret, so that looks like it's going to be 2 extra points.
I love sports ball references.
What a fumble from Westor, though. He really just... Why do you overextend right there? You get out when you're alive, just base, just come back. You have a global ultimate that can put you back under safe turret range and just keep farming, but yeah, so greedy.
And meanwhile, Ziv looking for a slam dunk on this one. Pulls in Balls, going to get him down to 1,000 health. Noxie might get some pretty low, but no hole in one. Now to the bottom lane, here we go.
Albus has got the slicing Maelstrom. High's looking for more. Look at On, 250 HP. Rat-a-tat-tat, and Albus is
Holy crap!
Two-man knock-up. High plays ping-pong, but does not find the killing blow.
Oh, that's a fault. Take another try for that serve, High. Unfortunately, not quite enough damage. It will give them turret pressure, though. The C9 can feel good about this.
Yeah, while that was going on, though, take a look at Balls. He's low and Unstoppable Force and Flash was used, so we'll have to keep track of what happened there.
Yeah, Balls with his low econ top laner getting camped a little bit there. Luckily for them, he's a fundamental part of just C9's setup, and he doesn't really need to be that far ahead, but what an unforced error there from High, really going in with that kick. He wanted to get the 2 kills, but it just was a little bit too much. Just get that 1 kill could have been enough, but very, very close overall. C9, though, trying to equal this game out, but suddenly losing in the top lane again and 2,000 gold behind still.
Elimination, they're going to have to be a bit careful. Teleport's coming in. He's pretty low on health. No, can he time the Black Shield? No, he doesn't. And Sneaky comes across the side. Easy pickup. Rocket lands on him from downtown.
It's not over. Well, now it is. Elimination's going to flash away. And for Cloud9, despite the positive play on the bottom, AHQ snap back ferociously. Destiny and Teleport nets themselves another kill, and they're going to get their first dragon of the game.
Look at Mountain. He's actually Jungler that power farms a lot in the I wouldn't call it mid game, but in the later stages of the early game. He's now 20 CS ahead of High yet. Last game against Fnatic, he did it too. He did it in full vision, just AFK farming constantly. So if you fail your ganks to C9, he will punish you by just getting more resources in his jungle.
Balls finds a way to knock down the top turret. Of course, it was already dropped really low by Sneaky, who pretty much got that turret on base. So just bunts it in, and Balls gets the turret kill. 2-2 in this one, though. And a fairly close game, 2,000 lead for AHQ.
So AHQ are going to be fairly happy with the advantages they built from their strong laners. Despite the fact that Westor is already low, this is kind of modus operandi for AHQ. Westor traditionally falls behind in lane, but his side lanes do very well. Ooh, close. And then Westor can impact the side lanes by use of teleports, or in this case, the Destiny. So for AHQ, I want to see how effectively and safely they position themselves. Ziv is going toe-to-toe with Balls. There is an unstoppable force for Balls that he may need, and he's going to do it. Follow flash and the dunk. One more decimate's not enough just yet. High wants to buy some time, and Balls will survive the bleed. The Grump is helping Ziv, though, and it takes a tag onto High. High's not going to want this fight and will back away.
Lead time is now, but a rocket's coming across the map. Should be called out from the mid lane. 3 more points for On.
Well, Ziv defying nature right there, showing that rocks can bleed. High gets out there, but Ball's looking to go down.
Well done by Mountain. I mean, Ball's only a shard of the monolith. You bring an entire Mountain over.
What a shot!
And High can take him back out.
Incarnation may want to look for Ziv. He doesn't have a knock-up charged yet. Will need to follow up with the Steel Tempest. Now he's going available. Who will he hit? Gonna choose one target. Exhaust is up. Jumps onto Albus to close the distance. Slicing Maelstrom is there. Incarnation gets one on Ziv. And Sneaky follows up onto Albus.
What a great fake out. Everybody thinks he's going for Darius, but he switches over to support and uses him as a vessel to get that kill and then take the next one. Fantastic play from Incarnation.
Albus taking some lessons from Bevivin, saying, hey, special delivery, I can... Wow, what a great play by Incarnation, though.
And Cloud9 are reacting to AHQ's aggressive plays. AHQ cannot afford to put themselves in positions where the damage dealers of Cloud9 can kill them. That's the only thing that will cost AHQ this game.
Look at this prediction from Hyde.
Wow.
Oh, Mountain's jump right there.
He also smites before Q lands just to get that little bit of extra damage, because you get the missing health damage on the Q, and then Incarnation just runs faster, it happens. So even though Albus gets the stun, it doesn't matter.
Really well played. And this is the Incarnation that was meant to be playing for Cloud9 all split long. He really came into light as the regional qualifiers started to play out. And it's good to see a confident, aggressive Incarnation in the game that is now the most important for the team.
Well, all that was going on, though. Westor did take a tower in the mid lane, and in the bottom lane, and not Ziv was actually firing on that AD carry, so he's getting ahead to the state that he tries to get into before he can carry those games. That 2-item spike, he's still looking for that IE shift.
And keep in mind, we are still on a 3,000 gold lead for AHQ, a pretty sizable advantage. Yes, mid lane turret will finally fall. Easily picked up, teleport's coming in high. Cannot find this good black shield. Lemon timing it correctly.
Yeah, gets him out alive.
Just a warning there with the yellow card for High.
For AHQ, as we said, the only thing that can really hurt them is positioning. So let's see if they can slow the tempo down. Once again, gain control of those side lanes. And they want to store. Mountain's gone for a first major item Rod of Ages on that jungle Nidalee.
Well, we'll see if that stat can happen. Of course, AHQ have been happy to play fairly late games, and in fact, again, the reason they didn't get side choice in this game was they had slower average wins than Cloud9. They played these later game battles where the big carries scale up. Mountain and On going to be two of the bigger ones here. And as the Infinity Edge is done, On's going to feel really good about this one. Attack speed, Boots already done as well, so even in rocket form, his DPS is going to be solid.
And that vision denial around the mid lane is very important. To have those two pink wards in the side brushes, that gives Sneaky an angle to just hide in and then sneak into the mid lane and just try and look for an assassination, because so far on this Twitch pick, he's down in CS about 45, but he hasn't really found an opening. 1 kill on every 80 carry right now, so we're looking for Sneaky to do exactly what he's doing here. Wait for somebody to show up and clear the mid wave, and then suddenly get behind them, you know, surprise them, and then find an opening to get an objective.
It's a difficult position for Cloud9 when one of the most proactive things that they can do is try to set up these ganks. AHQ are not falling for it. Admittedly, a lot of their players were back looking to spend money. Albus looking towards that Zeke's Harbinger as a potential first item, and that's really going to accelerate the damage that On can put down.
Yeah, but everything for C9 hinges on the new guy, on Incarnation. That wind wall has to block so many rockets from On later in these fights, and it can. We've seen it before in this exact same comparison. Yasuo can hard counter Jinx in fights, especially with then they have a setup for Balls to just instantly ulti when he tries to path around the wind wall, or just cut him off and then kill the remaining parts of the team. So C9 definitely by no means out of this game, regardless of what the story that the gold lead is telling, because it doesn't matter how much gold AD carry has, if he can't hit you, not gonna happen.
We've seen that happen in the Fnatic game. There were team fights where the first thing On ever did was get inside Tahm Kench's belly and then die right as she left. So Always a chance that happens here. How you play the fight's what matters.
20 seconds until Dragon. Westor's already shoved that wave in. I believe he stood on top of a pink ward, or at least he was the last time I looked down. May have been replaced as there's 3 of them in this bottom river. Another one up top. So AHQ not the deepest vision, but they've got it running all the way along this Dragon Pit. So set up for any potential engagement. That will force C9.
Look for engage
clear as they go.
Because there's Darius split pushing in the top lane. AHQ, they just want to play a patient approach here with TF split pushing in bot lane. They could even yield this Dragon Forward tower. C9 want to engage.
Top lane TP advantage makes it easy, but Mountain gets caught out. Oh no! The free kick gets the first kill, and Cloud9 now in control. No jungler, don't you even bother. Top lane turret might go down, but this should be an easily picked up. Westor's gonna teleport out, but gets caught. There's the Dragon, and here's the chase for balls.
Well, Westor's gonna continue to run away. He should just get run down. It looks like Incarnation will cut him off. So Dragon secured by Cloud9. High enabled that last breath.
Strong. Good stun, and Westor's running. Well, he needs the minion wave now.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to get away. Even if he gets the minion wave, it'll buy some time for Incarnation to just dash and dash. Good flash.
Q, flash Q, beautiful! Top lane turret still goes down, no assist for the Malphite, so a bit less gold than you would need. Mid lane turret still okay.
How the hell did Mountain die? I don't even know. Like, I'm looking and I'm like, AHQ disengaging, beautifully spreading out, and then suddenly Mountain just drops sneaky.
Well, he's not so sneaky. Gonna get caught out. Chompers are not gonna connect, but the exhaust will. Incarnation does not have last breath available. Gonna be looking for a knockup. Actually will get stunned up for a second. Mountain's gonna try chase him down. Wind wall is up. It will not block the kill. They've traded 1-for-1. Support for mid laner. Balls and High are gonna run down Ziv. That decimate heal is so effective, but Sneaky with the red buff picks up the kill. A 1-for-2 trade.
Yeah, Stone gets denied, and just the entire setup of that fight really was HQ giving a free throw right there, just throwing away the lead in a position where they should have.
Yeah, and when that happens, High just gives the alley-oop over to Westor, or to Incarnation rather, and all goes well. So 5-kill lead for Cloud9. Problem is AHQ have played the lanes better. They're still up a turret, and they're still up so much farm that it's a big gold lead.
And look at Sneaky. He knows he doesn't have to take out An. He can switch to Albus right here, keep away. Once he gets exhausted, Albus doesn't really path stay for him, gets the black shield from his support. Ziv getting kited, and that's obviously what you do against Juggernauts. Incarnation sacrifices his life, but C9 trading evenly and then cleaning up Ziv later on. So good positioning overall by C9 in this fight.
Even though Ziv managed to land a 2-man Q to heal 24% missing health, just not enough. Good chase down.
Well-handled team fight on multiple fronts. The thing is, even though Cloud9 are winning these fights, it's still not clawing back this gold lead that AHQ's built up.
And AHQ's gonna get a massive spike once this Kennen support finishes Zeke's. He'll have to change his playstyle though, because Kennen support likes going in early in the fight, soaking up damage and then AoE stunning. That obviously removes the possibility of that Zeke's being proc, so we may see a different approach to Albus's Kennen. Let's see if he actually can switch up his playstyle, because it's very hard to do that when you're just so used to playing a champion a certain way.
I also think this Malphite pick could definitely start paying more dividends. Once Balls builds up some more HP, gets that Randuin's, maybe even a Thornmail, gets that attack speed down on An and tries to keep in his face. Even if he doesn't kill him, buy enough time for Twitch and Yasuo to take the rest of AHQ out and then overrun An.
Well, Frozen Heart's the really big one for Balls here. The 3 big carries, not counting Mountain, I suppose, are all attack speed-based champions, at least in some way. That will be an important pickup there once that does come through, but he's still got, I think, 500 gold roughly for Balls to finish that item.
Get that done shortly, but on 9 for High. We've not really talked about his item build too much. Warrior Enchant and working his way towards the Tiamat into Hydra. Full damage. Just get on the target, just assassinate Westor.
Wow.
And that's a bit of non-traditional.
So he played full AP Elise just a little bit ago. Now he's on full AD Lee Sin. I mean, this is like, speaks to my solo queue self, where I have like a 30% win rate Lee Sin as one of my most played junglers, because damage is fun. But High really bringing his own ideas for how to play the game. Occasionally it's spectacular, occasionally he dies really fast.
They have been 50% successful on the world stage so far.
It makes sense in a certain way, because running Malphite compositions very often leaves you just completely too low on damage later in the game. Everybody will be looking at the carries too, so High can actually slip through this fight relatively unnoticed.
One big thing actually is High can kick Ziv through the back line, and it'll deal ludicrous damage. Keep in mind, there was a change recently to the ultimate where the base damage of the skill is still the same, big AD ratio, a lot of base damage, but it also deals damage based on your initial target's bonus health to everyone else he hits.
Basically rewards you for getting a strike when you use a tank as a bowling ball. That is generally what you want to see with Lee Sin later in these fights. When everybody wants to peel, you just kick him into their teammates and then you get bonus damage. Makes a very easy setup there for both Balls and Incarnation to combo off that too. Have to see how good the synergy is. Ziv is running away here, fleeing from Terror.
And he's going to get knocked up into the fight. There we go.
The unstoppable force catches him. Sneaky's going to be in range. Will be able to pick up that kill very easily at the cost of High's life. Westor used Destiny, so I can only assume, to catch High out.
And Squishy, it's an easy kill picked up. So jungler dead for top laner dead, but of course Ziv has TP, can rejoin his team as they head towards Baron.
They did lose their tank, so Baron's going to get rough here. Mountain. Bit of a duke out with Lamination. What I want to look for is when High kicks people in fights, at which point in the animation does Incarnation press R. If you do it immediately, you kind of lose some cooldown effect, and you can also wait for stuff to pinball together. So I have to see how much they've played this combination together later on.
Well, Cloud9 are going to try siege up this middle tower. Wind Wall is effective, and Incarnation gets a good chunk of Arn down. Exhaust is already used. Albus is going to eat that Dark Binding, and
Double
it looks
TP.
like that's a disengage. Here's the gold guard.
Knock up, not going to land, so Elimination's dead for certain. Ziv doesn't find anyone to kill, and Incarnation can run away, but that's a really good summoner teleport.
That was double TP though. Trading support for double teleport is perhaps worth it. Let's see what they lose in terms of the map though. Because AHQ is about to take the dragon. Ball's pushed in the wave in bot, so Baron at least is safe, but AHQ, yeah, they're expanding their gold lead.
Continuing to. It feels like for every one step Cloud9 make, AHQ are able to make two. So they're staying relatively close, and that gold lead is growing ever so slightly, but as the game pans out, as the game continues, it becomes less and less relevant because, of course, your total gold goes up. The Ziggs Harbinger was completed, though, so as long as Arn is alive and Albus is nearby, those rockets are going to hurt, much like Incarnation on Westor.
Gets stunned up, and no QSS means he has to run away now. And 3% lifesteal from Rune's going to keep his sustain up somewhere. Actually, take the back, that was just from the Doran's Blade. So no lifesteal on his page. But either way, just going to try to stay in this lane for a little bit. Now he's going to recall out. Infinity Ice is next on the table. So in 3,000 gold, if Incarnation is not stopped, he will destroy people, but it's going to be a while. 4 pink wards just picked up for C9, though. They want the map back.
Yeah, we see Ziv with this build that we've seen sometimes. Stellar Gauge second on after Black Cleaver. And I'm with Deficio, though, here. It works in a sense that it rewards you if you get focused down, and then you can start dealing damage in these fights, but you still have to get to your targets. You say, yes, we have lockdown coming out of TF and from Albus, but Albus will be playing these fights at a greater range because of the Zeeks that he has built. So overall, maybe it would have been wiser just going Dead Man's Plate to close that gap for Ziv to get to the carries.
We'll find out as it looks like the team fight is being set up. That zap from Arn will connect onto Balls, who is level 14 to the level 14 of Ziv. Despite the CS differences, Balls is currently only 500 gold down his opposite number.
Westor can't reach his fight yet. Ulti wouldn't put him in range. Ziv losing a lot of his health down to 1,000. You can see Sterix Gauge shield helping us a little bit there, but C9 are now in control of this top side of the map. And again, Westor can't reach this fight yet. He has to walk up to get there. He's going for the turret. There's the ulti, but he can't, again, reach his team.
This is gonna get scary. Javelin toss is connected onto High from Mountain. Westor's made it in range thanks to the Destiny and the Gate, and Sneaky eats a Javelin from Mountain.
Whoa!
The Gate is flashed away. Arn stays alive, and Albus throws on the Maelstrom.
It's gonna be enough for Balls to go down, so here comes the chase. The tail and a slicing Maelstrom tags a couple members. Elimination, Black shields himself. Holy cow, a big engage and a triple kill for the AHQ AD carry. And this is gonna be the easy pickup at the end.
Disrespect from Balls. You can't make that move in full vision and think Arn will not flash it. He's been playing on point and took 4 Fnatic members in rapid succession as assassins to chase him down. You can't expect a flash Malphite ulti to take that guy down right now. Beautiful flash. That's a game-winning flash right there.
And what a play. Cloud9 realizing they were behind, realizing they were down, invest their pink wards in some form of vision control to make a Baron play.
They spotted these three.
AHQ counter it perfectly.
That was a clutch. That was so close. That changes the entire way this fight plays out, because now Balls is left with no ultimate. Albus is joining. He can suddenly play aggressive because it doesn't matter if he dies or not. And then this Q flash here from Ziv, combined with the rocket, that's just disgusting. Doesn't even get time to ulti.
I'm still so impressed by AHQ. Remember, coming into this the previous game, LMS teams were 5-0. They lost their first game in week 2 to Fnatic, 5-1 as a region. Flash Wolves, the #1 seed from Group A, and AHQ on par to take the 2nd seed here in Group B.
Problem is, On's Flash will be down for as long as the Baron buff lasts, so he has to be so careful when sieging, because Balls will now almost be able to guarantee a hit on his ultimate, so
and that guarantees a setup, and that guarantees a lot of damage.
Maybe though, it won't be enough, because the remaining members can carry these fights out later on, but that's definitely what we're looking for in these fights.
10,000 gold lead. Mountain in the bottom lane right there. C9 have the advantage. They get the knockout. They get the push, and now it's down already. Now here comes the back half of the fight because Ziv is big in the front line. 1 kill picked up already. Balls gets chunked down. Mountain rejoins the battle. Flash pounce. Look at the burst damage. Lemon Asian can only press R and run away.
It doesn't matter if you kill On when there's so much damage on so many farmed members from the rest of AHQ. They extend their gold lead to 12,000 and they dangled on a hook and said, we dare you to hit him, we dare you. AHQ break open Cloud9's base and may have just broken their backs in the World Championships.
And North America poised to go 0-10. In the last week of the group stage. The storyline at Worlds was Western teams have a chance, North America's great, and even though Balls can pick off On, the entire reason they let Jinx up to try to bait him. Look at that hook, look at the walk back in a 2-man decimate, almost did enough damage to kite it back. Westor is still safe, thank you very much.
Ziv is just such an exceptional top laner. On any champion he plays, he looks fantastic.
Well, he looks fantastic. C9 made him look fantastic though this game. The biggest problem right now is just that Balls he got put so far behind, and they gave that initial lane swap, including the fact that Ziv could have actually teleported to the top lane and just ended the game right there and right then. He just got so far ahead, and C9 didn't win the crucial fights they had to win.
AHQ are looking to be a very, very real threat. Remember, whoever wins this, takes 2nd in the group, will go to London, and we will be doing the quarterfinal matchup draw live here from Paris before the show ends. So stick around, we'll do a post-game interview, and we'll get the draw set up on stage so we can find out who will be facing which team next week. And AHQ with this, phenomenal lead, they just have to play safe and clean to close this game out.
And they're gonna get right onto it. I mean, you can see even the javelins and zaps were timed with the dragon respawning. AHQ is on point right here as though they're a fingernail. And AHQ looking to close this one out to be the 8th team in the quarterfinals. On.
Just a moment of silence for that.
Despite being targeted.
Hang on.
No.
Yes,
6-1 and 3. C9 left the Jinx up saying, I dare you to pick it. We're going to play Yasuo Malphite.
6+3 is 9. There we go.
On 6-1-3. You just need that one win. Albus, Mountain, and On onto the inhibitor turret in the bottom lane while Ziv is up top. Teleport is available. Westor has joined the fight as well, and Ziv is being jumped on, but AHQ will be happy with this.
Doesn't exactly take damage.
He's turning it around. A double dunk!
Man, Cloud9, why did you bother trying to take this fight against the farm Darius? And now they're into the base. AHQ looking for the play. The Malphite ult does not matter. There is no damage. There is no base left. There is only victory for AHQ. One final dunk on the other side of the map. It's like he's playing Space Jam, and AHQ will be the final team out of Group B.
Great performance from AHQ. 3-1 on the day.
And what a heartbreaking defeat though.
Yeah.
Cloud9 getting essentially reverse swept here, 3-0 into 0-4 later on, but props to AHQ for getting here. And we can't forget Cloud9 talked a little bit with their owner Jack too before this. It says if any point during the season they would have asked you, so here Jack, there's this piece of paper. If you sign this, you will go to the Worlds. You go 3-0 in your first week, but sadly will not make it out of groups. Seeing from how far C9 have come, he would have definitely signed that paper. So fantastic performance overall here still to get to this point.
Absolutely. At one point, Cloud9 was 9th place in the North American LCS. They finished regular season in 7th, 2 reverse sweeps and a bunch of playoff runs, and their run ends. But here on your screen is AHQ. They have deserved this spot.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, LMS's number 2 seed takes the first seed in their respective group. And LMS's number 1 seed takes the 2nd seed in their group. Their region sent 2 teams, and both of them have showed up, especially on the high-pressure days. Both AHQ and Flash Wolves had some questionable games last week, but today with 3 different teams back-to-back-to-back, they really performed well, and I want to see how they do with another week's preparation, knowing who their opponents will be. It was great to see some smiles on the looks of Cloud9 there just a second ago. You can see Jack on stage with the team.
And that is leadership. A good run. That is leadership too, because it's incredibly hard to stay somewhat positive at this point. Because whenever you get that one step farther, you just forget how hard it was to get there, and you just get so disappointed when you just stop progressing. But C9, they can definitely be proud of their performance and what they've achieved so far. So mad props to them just coming out of that hole. And then AHQ, can't forget, can't make the story all about C9. Just on.